Imagine waking up every day with the knowledge that no matter what challenges come your way, you have the power to remain calm and composed, like a serene mountain standing tall against the fiercest winds. This is the essence of one of the most profound teachings of Buddha, to act as if nothing bothers you. In a world where stress, frustration, and disappointment often govern our reactions, this simple, yet transformative wisdom offers a way to break free from emotional turmoil and step into a place of inner peace. But how do we cultivate this kind of tranquility in the midst of life's inevitable ups and downs? It's a question that many of us struggle with, especially when we're faced with situations beyond our control. Think about figures in history, like Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison, yet emerged with a heart filled with forgiveness, or Steve Jobs, whose relentless pursuit of perfection didn't stop him from enduring immense personal and professional setbacks. These leaders didn't allow external circumstances or the opinions of others to dictate their inner peace. Instead, they mastered the art of responding to adversity with calmness, focus, and resilience. Buddhism offers us powerful tools to navigate life with such poise, and these tools are based on principles that help us stay grounded in the face of uncertainty. One of these principles is to listen more than you speak. By truly listening, not just to the words being said, but to the underlying emotions and unspoken truths, we can understand others more deeply. In doing so, we cultivate empathy and compassion. Instead of rushing to respond, we take the time to fully absorb what's being communicated, which allows for better decision-making, more thoughtful responses, and a more peaceful heart. Think of leaders like Barack Obama, whose ability to listen before reacting helped him foster an atmosphere of respect and understanding even in the most divisive situations. Another essential principle from Buddhism is the idea of letting go of the control we often seek over others' opinions. How many times have we found ourselves worried about what others think, or constantly trying to live up to expectations that aren't even our own? The Buddha teaches us to stay focused on the present moment, not letting the judgment or expectations of others steer our path. It's like a tightrope walker who must keep their eyes firmly on the balance ahead rather than getting distracted by the noise below. Leaders like Oprah Winfrey have mastered this concept, creating their own narratives unshaken by external criticism, and have built legacies based on authenticity and self-belief. Then, there's the practice of accepting that life is full of ups and downs, and the best way to face them is with an open mind, prepared for both success and failure. Buddha's words resonate deeply here. Pain is certain, suffering is optional. Accepting life's challenges doesn't mean resigning ourselves to them. It means acknowledging that they are part of the human experience, and that, through them, we grow stronger and wiser. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure was a lesson, and each lesson moved him closer to success. And let's not forget the power of simplicity. In a world that constantly demands more, it's easy to fall into the trap of wanting to accumulate, whether it's wealth, possessions, or status. But Buddha reminds us that true peace lies in simplicity. The less we cling to material things, the more space we create for inner calm and contentment. Think of someone like Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest individuals in the world, who lives modestly and values relationships over possessions. His simplicity in living is a reflection of a mind that has transcended the noise of consumerism and embraced the essence of what truly matters in life. Each of these principles is not just theoretical. They offer us real-world solutions to the challenges we face. Life will never be without difficulties, but with the wisdom of Buddha guiding us, we can navigate through even the toughest moments with grace. It's about creating a space within ourselves where peace, understanding, and compassion can thrive. By listening more, by disregarding the unnecessary noise of others' judgments, by accepting life's inevitable challenges, and by simplifying our lives, we can embrace the true essence of Buddha's wisdom and experience profound transformation. In the end, it's not about the absence of problems, but about how we choose to respond to them. Through the lens of Buddhist teachings, we discover that peace is not something to be found outside of ourselves, but something we can cultivate from within. It's a journey of continuous growth, where we learn not just to endure life's challenges, but to thrive despite them. And as we walk this path, we begin to realize that acting as if nothing bothers us is not just about avoiding the storms. It's about finding peace within them. Imagine being in a room with a powerful leader like Elon Musk, whose every word commands attention. Yet, if you observe closely, what sets him apart isn't just his ability to speak, but his capacity to listen. In meetings with his team, he listens twice as much as he talks. This isn't just a technique. It's a mindset that allows him to grasp deeper insights, consider every perspective, and shape the future with a more informed approach. It's a mindset deeply rooted in Buddhist wisdom, where the power of listening is more important than the act of speaking. Buddha's teachings remind us that listening is not merely about hearing words. It's about understanding the essence of those words, the emotions behind them, and the context in which they arise. Buddha once said, "To understand everything is to forgive everything," a simple yet profound statement. When we truly listen, we move beyond superficial judgments and engage in a deep understanding of the world around us. It's not just about the sound of someone's voice, but about connecting with their thoughts, feelings, and struggles in a way that brings compassion into the conversation. Take someone like Mahatma Gandhi. Despite being a man of great ideas and influence, he spent a large portion of his life listening to the needs of his people, the sufferings of the oppressed, and the messages from those who disagreed with him. He didn't just hear their words. He listened to their pain, their hopes, their fears. This act of listening created a bond between him and the masses, a connection that transcended barriers of language, culture, and status. His ability to listen actively and attentively enabled him to lead with empathy and wisdom, a characteristic that made his nonviolent revolution so powerful and transformative. Listening, in the Buddhist sense, is a spiritual practice. When we listen intently, we tune into the unspoken, the subtle hints that lie between the lines. It's like watching a master artist work, seeing not only the strokes of the brush, but also the intention behind them. This kind of listening allows us to connect with the true nature of the conversation, whether it's a casual chat or a deeply emotional disclosure. It's through this deep listening that we begin to understand not just the person speaking, but also ourselves. Imagine a scenario where a close friend shares their struggles with you. On the surface, it may seem like just another conversation, but by listening beyond the words, by tuning into their tone, their body language, and even the silences, you uncover a world of emotions. When we listen with this level of awareness, we don't just offer advice or a solution. We offer support that acknowledges the full depth of their experience. This kind of listening nurtures empathy and builds trust, creating stronger, more meaningful relationships. In the workplace, leaders who listen more than they speak are often the ones who inspire innovation and foster collaboration. Take someone like Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. Known for his ability to listen to his employees, no matter their rank, Bezos created an environment where everyone's voice mattered. It wasn't about dominating the conversation. It was about absorbing ideas, understanding concerns, and then acting on them with a level of insight that others might have missed. Listening twice as much as we speak doesn't mean we become passive or that our voices lose importance. In fact, it enhances the quality of our contributions. When we listen more, we gather information, understand diverse viewpoints, and approach the world with greater clarity. This gives us the wisdom to respond thoughtfully and with compassion, making our words not only more impactful, but also more meaningful. By learning to listen in this way, we begin to see the world through a wider lens, one that encompasses both our own experiences and those of others. And in doing so, we foster deeper, more connected relationships. In a world where opinions are as abundant as the air we breathe, it can be easy to let the words and attitudes of others dictate our lives. Think about someone like Oprah Winfrey, an incredibly powerful figure who has faced countless judgments throughout her career. Yet, despite the noise around her, Oprah has always managed to stay true to her vision. She's the epitome of someone who doesn't let external comments derail her journey. Her resilience shows that we, too, can avoid getting lost in the judgments of others and instead focus on the path that feels right for us. Buddha's teachings on this matter are profoundly simple but powerful. He once said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." These words are more than just advice. They are a roadmap to reclaiming our peace and direction. Life is a constant flow of events, and every day we face judgments, expectations, and comments from people around us. It's like walking down a path where everyone has an opinion about the direction you should take. But just as a hiker doesn't stop every few feet to consult every passerby, we shouldn't let the opinions of others define where we go. Think about someone like Elon Musk, who has faced relentless criticism for his bold ideas and unconventional methods. Despite this, he remains committed to his vision. He doesn't let the doubters and critics define the trajectory of his work. Instead, he stays focused on the present moment, on what needs to be done to move forward. He's learned, much like Buddha suggested, to concentrate his energy on his own path and not on the noise around him. In doing so, he's reshaped entire industries and become a figure of innovation and progress. Now, imagine you're an artist creating something from the heart, pouring your emotions and soul into every stroke or note. But then, someone critiques your work harshly. If you let that criticism shape your decisions, you may begin to doubt yourself, change your style, or even abandon your passion. But true mastery and fulfillment come when you stay grounded in your own vision, regardless of what others think. By staying true to what feels right for you, you remain the captain of your journey. Your path becomes yours alone, and while others may walk beside you, they don't control the direction you take. This principle is about finding the courage to stay authentic in a world that constantly wants to steer us off course. It's about trusting yourself enough to know that your decisions, your choices, are valid, even if they don't align with the expectations of others. It's easy to be swept up in the judgments of friends, family, or even strangers. But by focusing on the present moment, we regain control of our narrative and our actions. We stop being influenced by what others think, and instead we draw strength from within. Think of someone like Beyoncé, who has faced both adoration and criticism throughout her career. Despite the noise, she remains grounded, focused, and true to herself. Her unwavering confidence and authenticity are the keys to her success. She has learned not to be controlled by others' comments, choosing instead to pursue her vision and remain focused on her own path, no matter the external pressures. In the end, this principle isn't just about rejecting criticism. It's about tuning out the noise and focusing on what truly matters. It's about knowing that you are the only one who truly understands your journey and your dreams. While opinions from others can be helpful at times, they shouldn't dictate your direction. When you concentrate on the present moment, on your true path, you will find that the noise fades away, and you are left with a clearer sense of purpose, ready to face whatever challenges come your way. Life has a way of throwing curveballs at us. Unexpected challenges, setbacks, and moments that feel like everything is falling apart. Yet, one of Buddha's most powerful teachings cuts through the chaos with profound clarity. Pain is certain, suffering is optional. It's a reminder that while pain and hardship are a natural part of life, how we respond to them is entirely within our control. The essence of this teaching lies in the idea that we don't have to be defined by our struggles. Instead, we can choose how we face them. Consider someone like Nelson Mandela, whose life was defined by immense hardship, imprisonment, and personal sacrifice. But even in the most difficult times, he didn't let these challenges break him. He didn't expect life to be without struggle. He accepted it. In fact, it was his acceptance of hardship, paired with his resilience and inner peace, that allowed him to continue his fight for freedom. He didn't fear failure or the worst that could happen. Instead, he understood that these struggles were part of a larger process, one that would ultimately lead to a better future. The principle of being ready to accept the worst is not about surrendering to failure. It's about understanding that setbacks are a natural part of the journey. Take Steve Jobs, for instance. His career is a story of enormous highs and crushing lows, being ousted from the very company he founded, only to return years later to transform Apple into one of the most valuable companies in the world. Jobs wasn't afraid of failure because he had accepted that obstacles were inevitable. What mattered was how he responded. He faced each setback not as a roadblock, but as an opportunity to innovate and push forward. Buddha's wisdom teaches us that acceptance is a shield, a powerful tool that helps protect us from the extra suffering that comes when we resist life's challenges. Imagine a sailor out at sea, navigating through a violent storm. The storm might be terrifying, but the sailor isn't panicking. He's been through it before. He understands that storms are part of the journey, and his preparation, his calm in the face of adversity, is what enables him to make it through. In much the same way, when we mentally prepare ourselves for the worst, we become better equipped to weather life's storms. We stop fearing the waves and start learning how to navigate them. This mindset doesn't mean resigning ourselves to failure. It means understanding that failure is just a temporary setback, not the end of the journey. Think of someone like Jeff Bezos, who faced countless challenges in the early days of Amazon. From doubts about his business model to the financial struggles that nearly sunk his company, Bezos could have easily let these obstacles dictate his fate. But instead of fearing failure, he accepted the difficulties, learned from them, and adapted. His success came not because he avoided challenges, but because he was mentally prepared to face them head-on. When we embrace this principle, we free ourselves from the unnecessary suffering that comes with resistance. By accepting that life's difficulties are inevitable, we can approach them with resilience and peace. And just like the sailor who knows the storm will pass, we too can trust that the challenges we face will eventually give way to calmer waters. The key is to not let our fears or expectations of failure control our response. Instead, by accepting the worst, we position ourselves to handle whatever comes our way with grace, wisdom, and unwavering determination. Buddha once said, "Each morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most." This powerful teaching invites us to live fully in the present, free from the weight of past mistakes or the fear of future failures. Too often, we hesitate to take action or pursue our dreams because we're terrified of failing. But in truth, failure is not something to be afraid of. It's a necessary and valuable part of the process that shapes who we are. Every mistake, every misstep is not a mark of defeat, but a lesson in resilience, a step closer to mastery. Think of Thomas Edison, the man who invented the light bulb. He didn't stumble upon success on his first try, or even his 100th. In fact, he failed thousands of times before finally finding the right formula. But instead of viewing each failure as a reason to quit, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His perspective on failure is what set him apart. Each failure wasn't a reflection of his abilities. It was a lesson in persistence, a reminder that success comes not in avoiding failure, but in learning from it. His ultimate success, the invention of the light bulb, was built on a foundation of repeated attempts, each one making him stronger, more creative, and more determined. This idea echoes Buddha's teachings. Failure is not the end, it's the beginning of growth. Just as a sculptor chips away at a block of stone to reveal a masterpiece, our mistakes carve out the person we are meant to become. They refine us, make us sharper, and teach us to approach challenges with greater wisdom. Look at Steve Jobs, for instance. In the early stages of Apple's development, he was ousted from the company he founded. His failure could have been the end of his story, but Jobs didn't give up. Instead, he took what he learned from that experience and returned to Apple with a vision that revolutionized the tech industry. His story is a testament to the power of not fearing failure, but using it as a catalyst for innovation and personal growth. The world's most successful people didn't get where they are by avoiding failure. They got there because they embraced it. They knew that every failure was a stepping stone, not a setback. Each misstep brought them closer to understanding, to perfecting their craft, to achieving their ultimate goals. Failure doesn't diminish us, it refines us. When we stop fearing failure and instead see it as a valuable part of the journey, we open ourselves up to endless possibilities. Just like Edison, Jobs, and countless others, we learn that success is built on the foundation of every failure. And each new day offers us the opportunity to begin again, stronger, wiser, and more determined than before. Buddha's words, "The way is not in the sky, the way is in the heart," point to a simple yet profound truth. The answers we seek in life are not found in external achievements or material possessions, but within ourselves. In a world that constantly urges us to accumulate more possessions, more achievements, more distractions, we often lose sight of what truly matters. But what if the key to lasting happiness was not about adding more to our lives, but instead simplifying them? What if peace and fulfillment were found in the very simplicity we so often overlook? Look at the way Steve Jobs lived his life. Known for his incredible success and innovations, Jobs was also someone who embraced simplicity. At Apple, he revolutionized the tech world with products that were elegant in their design and function, focusing on creating devices that were simple to use yet powerful in their impact. He didn't burden his creations with unnecessary features or complexity. He pared them down to what was essential. In his personal life, Jobs also sought simplicity. He famously embraced minimalism, seeking peace in simplicity and clarity. His life is a testament to the fact that the more we strip away the clutter, the more room we create for what truly matters. Consider the endless pursuit of material wealth. It's easy to think that success is about the things we acquire, the bigger house, the fancier car, the latest gadgets. But how often do these things bring us true happiness? More often than not, the chase for external validation leaves us feeling empty and restless. Real contentment, as Buddha suggests, comes from within. A peaceful walk through the woods, a conversation with a close friend, or even just sitting in silence and appreciating the present moment. These simple acts can bring more joy than any possession. This is the paradox that many of the world's wealthiest and most successful figures eventually come to realize. True happiness does not lie in complexity or accumulation, but in simplicity and presence. Take Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men in the world. Despite his fortune, Buffett lives a relatively simple life, sticking to routines that bring him calm and clarity. He's known for his straightforward approach to investing and his minimalist lifestyle. His wisdom echoes Buddha's teaching. By keeping things simple, we focus on what truly matters, removing the distractions that so often cloud our judgment and happiness. The message is clear: life doesn't have to be complicated to be meaningful. In fact, the more we simplify, the more we make space for peace, clarity, and joy. By letting go of the unnecessary, whether it's physical clutter, emotional baggage, or the need for constant validation, we make room for the things that bring us true contentment. Buddha's wisdom invites us to look inward, to focus on what is essential, and to embrace the simplicity that can lead to a life of peace and fulfillment. Buddha's insight into true wisdom challenges us to reconsider what it means to be truly wise. It's not about the number of accolades or the sound of our voice, but about the quiet strength we cultivate within. He reminds us that a wise person is not someone who boasts about their knowledge or seeks to be admired for their intellect. Instead, true wisdom shines through humility, through the way we live, love, and interact with the world. This humility allows us to let go of the ego, to embrace vulnerability, and to connect with others on a deeper, more meaningful level. Take someone like Michelle Obama, who embodies this principle of humility despite her tremendous success. As a former First Lady, an advocate for education, and an influential public figure, she has the platform to flaunt her accomplishments. Yet, she chooses to lead by example through her humility. She speaks not to showcase her own achievements, but to uplift others, especially young people who need to hear messages of empowerment and hope. In her memoir, Becoming, Michelle shares her life story with such openness and grace, never placing herself above anyone else, but instead inviting her readers into her journey. Her humility creates a space where others feel heard and valued, And it's in that space that true learning and connection happen. Humility is a quality that fosters empathy. By not placing ourselves above others, we open ourselves to truly understanding their experiences, challenges, and emotions. The Dalai Lama is another figure who exemplifies this principle. Despite being a globally recognized spiritual leader, he remains grounded and approachable, always emphasizing that true power lies in compassion, not in superiority. His humility allows him to engage with people from all walks of life, regardless of their status or background. It is his humility that makes him not only a revered figure, but also a beloved one, able to touch hearts and inspire millions around the world. Humility doesn't require grand gestures or speeches. It's found in our actions, the way we show up for others, the way we listen and care. Think of a teacher, for instance, who holds vast knowledge yet never feels the need to flaunt it. Instead, they choose to quietly listen, offering their wisdom with a gentle hand, guiding their students with compassion and understanding. It's in this simple act of being humble that they create an environment rich with respect and learning. Students feel safe to express themselves, knowing they are not judged but understood, and this kind of humility opens the door to meaningful relationships. True humility doesn't diminish our strength, it amplifies it. It allows us to create deeper connections, heal wounds, and offer support without expecting anything in return. When we embrace humility, we embrace the power of being present, of giving without expecting recognition, and of leading by example. This is the kind of wisdom that Buddha teaches us. To be humble, not to hide our light, but to share it in a way that illuminates the world around us. Buddha's wisdom speaks directly to the heart of modern life, where the pursuit of material wealth often overshadows what truly brings fulfillment. His words, "Health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth, faithfulness the best relationship," remind us that real riches are found not in bank accounts or luxury possessions, but in the quiet, everyday moments that nurture our souls. We are often led to believe that the more we acquire, the happier we'll become. But the Buddha warns that fortune, when chased for its own sake, can be dangerously deceiving. It can leave us feeling empty, disconnected, and unsatisfied despite all the material things we have amassed. Take someone like Jeff Bezos, for example. While he has built one of the most successful companies in the world, he has also spoken openly about the emptiness that can come with relentless ambition. Despite his extraordinary wealth, there are moments when success feels hollow, when the true value of his accomplishments seems to slip away, leaving him wondering what really matters. On the other hand, consider someone like Warren Buffett, who has amassed incredible wealth, but often emphasizes that his true wealth is found in his relationships and his ability to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. Buffett doesn't chase after fleeting luxuries, but invests in lifelong learning and the people around him, showing us that contentment often comes not from endless acquisition, but from appreciating what we already have. The pursuit of fortune can sometimes blind us to the richness of what's right in front of us. It's easy to think that happiness comes from a bigger house, a shinier car, or the latest technology, but Buddha's teachings urge us to shift our focus. Look at someone like the Dalai Lama, who despite his spiritual leadership and global influence, lives simply and has little attachment to material wealth. He often speaks of contentment as a spiritual practice, finding peace in the present moment rather than in what we might acquire in the future. His life is a living example of how wealth is not about the things we own, but the love we give and the peace we cultivate within ourselves. True wealth, as Buddha teaches, isn't about the things we accumulate, but the relationships we nurture and the peace we find within. It's the quiet joy of a deep conversation, the satisfaction of helping others, or the calm that comes with being content in the present moment. Consider someone with vast wealth, yet feeling isolated, disconnected from others. Their fortune may fill their home with luxury, but it can never fill the emptiness they feel inside. In contrast, someone with fewer possessions but strong, loving relationships will find a depth of happiness that surpasses any material gain. The wealth of connection, trust, and shared moments brings a richness that can't be bought, only cultivated. Buddha's teaching reminds us that fortune is fleeting, but true happiness comes from embracing the simplicity of life, nurturing our health, and cherishing those around us. As we focus on building meaningful relationships and cultivating contentment, we unlock the richest treasures life has to offer, not in what we own, but in who we are and who we choose to be with. When we pause to absorb the Buddha's teachings, it becomes clear that true wisdom isn't about intellectual knowledge, but about how we choose to live. It's about how we respond to the world around us, how we engage with others, and how we navigate the unpredictable journey of life. Buddha's wisdom challenges us to listen more deeply, stay true to our path, and not let the noise of the world dictate our journey. It teaches us to accept life's inevitable challenges, to see failure not as a setback but as a stepping stone, and to simplify our lives in a way that brings clarity and peace. It's about practicing humility, embracing the quiet strength that comes from being grounded, and appreciating the real wealth in our lives, the people we love, the moments we cherish, and the peace we cultivate from within. These principles, when woven into our daily lives, hold the power to shift our perspective and transform our experiences. Think about how Steve Jobs, despite all the success and fortune, often spoke of simplicity and focus. He famously said, "Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work." This isn't just about professional success. It's about living in a way that aligns with what truly matters, something Buddha emphasized centuries ago. Like Jobs, we can all create lives of greater meaning by shedding what distracts us, tuning into what's important, and walking through life with purpose and humility. Embracing Buddha's wisdom doesn't mean ignoring the challenges life throws our way. It means facing them with the knowledge that our response is what truly defines us. When we apply these teachings, we start to see the world with new eyes, noticing not just the outer circumstances, but the peace we cultivate within. It's like building a strong foundation from the inside out, creating a life that is stable and content no matter what comes our way. Ultimately, the wisdom Buddha offers isn't just a philosophical ideal. It's a blueprint for living a peaceful, connected, and fulfilled life. It's a reminder that peace isn't something we find out there in the world. It's something we create within ourselves through our actions, our choices, and our relationships. And when we approach life with that inner calm, we naturally inspire those around us to do the same. Just as Buddha's teachings have endured for thousands of years, so too can the peace they bring endure in our own lives, guiding us toward a future filled with more joy, less stress, and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. So, take these lessons into your heart, apply them in your daily life, and remember, peace, happiness, and wisdom aren't distant ideals. They're choices we make every day.